Hi everyone, it's Miss Jamie coming to you today to read you a story, The Retired Kid by Agee. This is one of my favorite stories. It's quite funny. And I'd like to thank Disney Publishing, Hyperon Books for Children for allowing me to read this story to you today. So here we go, The Retired Kid. And take a look at him. He is running for the bus. It's hard work being a kid. First of all, there's school. Then there's soccer practice, violin class, voice lessons, walking Sparky, babysitting your little sister, not to mention having to eat your vegetables. What is your favorite vegetable? And what is your least favorite vegetable? I like green beans. I don't really like asparagus. So, one day, Brian decided to retire. It's been a wonderful 8 years, he said, but I need a break. And take a look at Brian's family. Look at their faces. What do you think that they're thinking about Brian telling them that he wants to retire? His parents thought he was joking, so they threw him a retirement party. Take a look at that. He got gifts and everything. But Brian was serious. The next day, he flew to Florida to the Happy Sunset Retirement Community. Happy Sunset was a lovely place. There was a swimming pool, tennis courts, and a snack bar. Wow, thought Brian, I should have retired years ago. Happy Sunset was filled with interesting people. There was Ethel, Wally, Tex, Myrtle, and Phyllis. And there was Harvey, a retired plumber. Do you know what a plumber does? A plumber is a person that will come and fix all of the waterworks under your sink with all the pipes, or maybe even outside of your house. If it starts dripping or if something gets clogged or broken with those pipes, they're the person you call. So what did you used to do? He asked Brian. I was a kid. A kid, said Harvey. That's hard work, said Brian. Being retired was not hard work. There were card games. What's your favorite card game? Do you like Uno? Do you like to play War, Old Maid? And there was golf. Can you hit a hole in one? Do you think Brian's gonna make it? And there were long afternoon naps. Take a look at that. Some days, Harvey took Brian fishing, to ball games, or to the movies. So what do you think, kid, he said. Isn't retirement a blast? But Brian wasn't sure. Being retired meant having to listen to Tex go on and on about his hip replacement. And take a look at him looking at his x-ray. You can see his bones and his hip joint. Looking at hundreds of snapshots of Myrtle's grandchildren. Well, that makes sense, right? Grandmas love their grandkids. Or watching long documentaries on TV. There were other things too, like early morning yoga, knitting class, weekly checkups when Brian wasn't feeling sick, Friday night swing dancing, Wally's prune juice smoothies, not to mention sitting on Ethel's false teeth. After 3 weeks of retirement, Brian was fed up. "It's no use," he said. "I don't fit in." "Listen, kid," said Harvey, "when retirement gets you down, you have to think back to the good old days." "The good old days," said Brian. "Never fails," said Harvey. So Brian found a quiet spot under a palm tree and thought back to the good old days. Now remember, he's only 8 years old. Very soon, he started remembering things, good things, like the time he scored a goal for the soccer team, the time he aced his math test, the time he hit the perfect note on the violin. He remembered singing in the school musical, making his little sister laugh, throwing Sparky the ball. He even remembered that broccoli wasn't so bad if you covered it with cheddar cheese. I wonder if I should try that with asparagus. Brian made up his mind. "Hey, Harvey," he said, "I've decided to come out of retirement." Harvey wasn't surprised. "Well, I'll miss you, kid." The next morning, Brian packed up his things and wished everyone at Happy Sunset the best. Then he caught the first flight back home. His parents were happy to see him. So were his teachers and all of his pals. "It's hard work being a kid," said Brian, "but guess what? I love my job." And that is the very end of The Retired Kid by John Agee. I hope you've enjoyed this story, and I'd like to thank Disney Publishing and Hyperon Books for Children for allowing me to read this story to you today. Remember, summer reading's still going on, so log your books. Everyone have a great day and tune in again for another fun story soon. Bye-bye, everyone.